Good evening, all of you Minties, and welcome back to another live edition of Was It Really That Bad? Where your two hosts, the amazing Amanda and the Uncanny Omar, look back at some of the worst rated superhero movies and determine if they sorry, I had a wine
Really,
already,
really?
guys, were really as bad as the reviewers and the audience said way back when they were
Look at
originally
look at
released.
this. Canadian Invincible
Oh,
Comics is ready to defend this movie. I love
and
it.
I am ready to hear those
Stop,
defenses.
Thomas Judge.
Hey,
We
Thomas.
uh we hope everybody's doing okay.
Yes.
Everybody's staying healthy, safe out there. So yeah, good to be back and doing this type of video. Maybe not necessarily this movie, but yeah. What are you gonna do?
I love you guys. Can I just say, we give you all these choices and you just keep bringing the zingers every week. So thank you for that, near mint condition fans, my minties.
The zingers.
Yes, the zingers. Without you guys, I don't know if I'd ever see some of these movies ever. So Omar, so today what we
Yes.
decided to do for this week was, since HBO Max came out last week, and let me know in the chat if
Did you guys let her know? Oh, that's a good. I gotta take a picture of this so I can show Amanda.
sorry.
What her frozen face looks like.
I knew it. Okay. Anyways, so I have not used another streaming app since HBO Max had come into existence. So, and that's probably because I'm streaming the OC right now, and they have the longest seasons
Amanda.
on Earth, and each episode's an hour long almost. So that's probably why I haven't,
I texted you your picture of what you look like when you're frozen.
Oh God.
It will make you want to call your internet provider and be like, please fix this. I can't
But
look
it's
like this again."
Spectrum, and Spectrum won't do that. So, anyways.
So, what's up, Hugo? Beta Ray Ren. Hope everybody's doing okay. Thank you for joining us for
Yes.
this movie. I don't know if y'all have seen this movie. I had only seen it one time, and I remember I can't remember why I went to the theater to see it because I wasn't excited for it, even though I like Josh Brolin a lot. But this is pre Thanos. This is pre Cable. Uh, what year was this movie?
2010, actually. So it's only about 10 years old.
So
I thought
it was after he came back
older.
in his adult like acting career, right?
Josh
Like,
Brolin.
So it was after
Yes.
that, after he had
Yes.
returned.
Yeah.
Cool.
And for a lot of people, this is not hit.
Had it on and wound up falling asleep during it. That's about my review, but I actually went and watched it. Go ahead, do your thing, Amanda.
Oh no, you're fine. No, I was saying that there's a lot of actors in here that, I mean, besides like John Malkovich and stuff, who, a couple of them who've become a little bit more famous in the last 10 years, and some that have kind of faded out of existence.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. So, anyways, so we decided to give you guys an option of some of the worst rated superhero films that happen to be at HBO Max, because a lot of them are DC films, and that's what Warner Brothers owns. So we gave you the choice between Steel, Jonah Hex, and Supergirl, and we ended up with Jonah Hex.
I really wanted to watch Steel or Supergirl, so it's
Me
the
too,
one movie out of
because
the
they're so much
three.
older.
81 minutes of hell. Good
Yes, it is, I
description.
think, one of the shortest movies we watched as well. And I was surprised by how short it was, because it makes sense given how it lays everything out. So, movie came out in 2010, directed by Jimmy Hayward, who only has 4 directing credits to his name. Most of them are animated, like Horton Hears a Who and Freebirds.
I can see a little bit of Horton in here.
Could you?
No, I made that up. I made that part.
He was written by Mark Neveldine, who did like Gamer and Crank. Again, not a prolific writer by any means. And unfortunately, this movie was also released the same day as Toy Story 3. And I remember what I saw in theaters that weekend, and it was Toy Story 3, because I bawled my eyes out. Definitely did not go see Jonah Hex in 2010.
Toy Story 3, I was in fear when the toys would come back and melt into one giant toy when they're in the. You remember
that would
scene
be the
when they're in conveyor belt?
Yes, and they're all holding hands. That was so traumatic for a lot of people.
I was literally hoping that they would all be melted and become one giant plastic toy that Andy finds later as a
Keep
sex doll.
thinking.
Anyway, that was my fanfic for tonight.
Yeah, Michael,
Yeah,
we're
I
going to talk
forgot
about
he
that.
was in
I
that.
did not know he was in it because this is the first time I've ever seen this film. So there's a lot of actors. I was like, oh, well, we'll get to my review when we start talking about the.
Shaq Fu is in Steel, Thomas.
Yes.
Shaq plays John Henry Irons. Yep.
Hmm.
I forgot this movie existed until you guys put it up in the poll.
That's what we're here for, to show you guys.
Yep. Sex Toy Story 3 also made me cry. Yes. Go ahead, Amanda.
Okay.
81 minutes. My goodness.
81 minutes. So I'm going to try to do this synopsis as fast as possible since I don't want to make it any longer than the film itself.
Okay.
To start us off, movie stars Josh Brolin as Jonah Hex, John Malkovich as Quentin Turnbull, Michael Fassbender, that was a surprise for me, as Burke. This is definitely before like X-Men First Class and stuff. So Megan Fox is Lila. This is like right around her mid-hate, like, you know, she was just on that precipice after Transformers, Jennifer's Body and stuff like that. Aidan Quinn, you know, if anyone watches like, you know, I think Practical Magic, he was in that. That's Omar's favorite film, for anyone who doesn't know.
I've seen that with you because you forced me to watch it.
Yeah, I did. Or what's that movie with that name right? Anyways, Will Arnett, who plays Lieutenant Grass, so he makes a cameo in it.
Yep.
We've got Wes Bentley, which I only remember for the Hunger Games, and he has the same mutton chops that he does in the Hunger Games. So this was like his getting ready to do the mutton chops for Hunger Games. Michael Shannon, very brief appearance, but he's also in this film. We all just remember him from last week's movie.
Yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yes, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He was Jeb. But he has a beard and stuff, and so like I was thinking to myself, what all these actors? At least we know most of these actors were able to go on and have pretty, you know, prolific careers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not Megan Fox, but most of the men were able to move on and have prolific careers. So let me start off with the synopsis, unless I'm boring everyone, and we can just skip the synopsis.
No, you're not boring anybody. Okay. Are you talking about me?
No, yes, you look bored out of tears. So, I've never read the Jonah Hex comics. I'm assuming you have, Omar?
Yeah, don't let this movie misguide you into thinking Jonah Hex sucks. Because the movies or the comic books are a lot more exciting than this movie was.
Good. Okay, good to know. Then I might read the comics.
And his origin's a lot different in the comic books too.
Okay, yes.
Like in his powers or whatever they were trying to do here.
And so that's a good segue to start our synopsis. So the beginning of the movie pretty much starts off with a voiceover from Josh Brolin or Jonah Hex, pretty much giving his origin story, talking about he was a Confederate soldier who struggled with his morality or had this moment of morality and decided to refuse to blow up a hospital that his general, which is Quentin Turnbull, wanted them to blow up. I guess Turnbull had gotten kind of crazy during the Civil War. In this thing, he turns over General Turnbull and the other Confederate soldiers underneath him, ends up killing his best friend Jeb, who is also the son of Turnbull. And to get back at Jonah Hex, Turnbull strings him up on a cross, makes him watch all of his lackeys burn his wife in his house, and then brands hit the side of his face. After several days of laying on the cross or hanging on the cross, some Native Americans save him. They try to revive him, and in doing so, have to give him these powers to be able to resurrect the dead for a short amount of time. And apparently, General Turnbull dies in a fire. So, because he never got his revenge, he decides to become a bounty hunter in order to take out his vengeance on other wrongdoers. So, this story, the main part of the story, takes place several years after the Civil War, right when the Union is in existence, and now we're out kind of farther west. And
so that part is pretty accurate with the time that Jonah Hex comics takes place, like around Civil War, like about 1850, 1860, something like that.
Okay, so it's pretty accurate on that front.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So the present day we shoot forward, so we don't see him become the bounty hunter. We know he becomes it, so he's full-fledged bounty hunter, badass Jonah Hex. And we kind of see him, you know, kill some guys, etc. And people know he has a reputation. Meanwhile, apparently Turnbull is not dead. In fact, him and his crew, which includes Michael Fassbender's character,
Who had
um,
amazing face tattoos.
amazing face tattoos and great Irish accent. And honestly, watching this movie, I kept thinking, you can already tell this guy is going to be a star because he just resonates, you know, out of everyone else. He just seems to resonate a little bit more than some of the people he was with, including John Malkovich. And so they basically hijack a train because they are stealing a super weapon. So this has an element of the kind of sci-fi where we have or technology that is well more advanced than what we in real life had at that time, which is very like Wild Wild West with Will Smith, if anyone remembers that movie.
I tend to want to forget that one.
Really? Because I think I would have preferred that to this movie, but we'll keep going.
Okay. I think I kind of agree with you there, though.
Okay, so his men raid the train for the super weapon, and President Grant, played by Aidan Quinn, has his Lieutenant Grass. He orders him to get Jonah Hex to basically help him find Turnbull and stop him from using this weapon on American citizens, because I'm sure they know his history and know that he has some major beef with Turnbull, and he thought he was dead. Turns out he's alive. Meanwhile, we're introduced to Lila, which is Megan Fox's character. She's basically a prostitute, and I guess her and Jonah Hex have a relationship, and she wants him to have a life with her, and he's, you know, it's kind of like, I can't have a life and all this stuff. So there's some conflict there. And then he gets right in the middle of their like conversation. He gets interrupted by the Union or the Army, and they tell him he has to come see Lieutenant Grass. And when he reaches them, basically Lieutenant Grass, who obviously doesn't believe that Jonah Hex is really going to be able to help them, asks him to help find Turnbull. So this is where we kind of get to see the first use of his powers, which is the resurrecting the dead. They have a guy who they said might have information. So he goes and, you know, resurrects him. I don't think everyone else can see it, but he can see the resurrection, which is a pretty cool scene. You know, you hear the hellhounds in the background, you see the dirt and everything like that. And then you kind of, you know, realize he's going to start to burn up because he hasn't been dead long enough. And he describes exactly what his powers are and what happens to the people who are resurrected if, you know, depending on how long they've been dead, etc. And the guy doesn't know who Turnbull is, but leads him to someone else named Slocum, who is running some fighting rings in South Carolina. So this leads us to Michael Shannon's brief interaction as the leader or as the announcer at this fighting ring. And so Jonah Hex heads this way to go find it. Meanwhile,
I like Jenna too. Jenna Hex works too.
Jonah, sorry.
No, you're good. Jenna Hex works.
Yeah. Well, that's the female version. Actually, you could probably make Jonah. Okay. Anyways. So then you get a brief interlude of seeing that Turnbull is actually working with Alderman Lusk, which is played by Wes Bentley, with his amazing mutton chops, which get more stylized in Hunger Games. So he keeps it going further in his acting roles, and he is helping him.
In Hunger Games.
He was the game maker in the original Hunger Games, and he ends up getting killed by President Snow after Katniss does her...
Dude, spoilers.
Oh, sorry. I think that movie's old enough.
I don't care.
It's a book and a movie. I think it's old enough. Anyways, but he was the game maker. And yeah, so that's who he was.
Game maker.
The game maker, yes. For a brief time. I forget his name, but that's what he was. Okay, so he's been helping Turnbull. He's pretty much a turncoat himself, and he's been helping him retrieve the information to get this super weapon. So basically, he gives him the location of where he needs to find these glowing Dragon Balls, because that's what I thought they were, that will power the super weapon. So that's our little side interlude. Meanwhile, we see Jonah go to this fighting rink for a brief second to watch people fight it out, and he has a conversation with Slocum, but Slocum's not helpful at all, and he gives Jonah a suggestion, which I don't know why Jonah didn't think to go to this in the first place. Why don't you talk to Jeb? Which I'm surprised he didn't think, I could speak to the dead and I haven't spoken to him, but maybe I should talk to Jeb. So he decides finally to go talk to his old friend, apologizes for killing him. Jeb kind of gives him a little bit of a, moral quandary. He's kind of telling him, I don't see the difference between you and my father. You guys are basically both monsters. You're both killing to keep the pain away.
Yeah.
But he does tell him, because he's dead, he can see everything. And he does say, I've been watching you and my father. And he tells him where his father is. So then there's a brief thing where he goes to get a gun from a shop owner named Smith. And then I was like, is that like Smith and Wesson? And while buying the gun, the guy's asking him, he's like, what's in it for you? I mean, I never understood why you're part of the Confederacy. It's like, just because you didn't like the government telling you what to do, but you weren't a racist and you weren't a secessionist. You didn't want us to leave the Union. You just want the government in our business. So to me, I'm like, oh, he's a libertarian. That's what he is. So
you did a lot of deep thinking in this movie. Wow. Like, were you drinking wine?
No, I was not. I was completely sober for 81 minutes.
I swear, every episode we do this, somebody, and it might have been Matt the last time, comments on your synopsis is usually longer than the movie.
I'm sorry.
How many sips of wine? Never apologize for who you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just trying to give everyone a long synopsis of the film, so you all can get an idea. So I can save you the trouble of watching it.
Not a lot happened, really.
Oh, like, look, he said it is. Go ahead. No, thank you. That's what I thought. It was a reference to Smith and Wesson. Thank you, Canadian Invincible Comics.
Thank you, Amanda, for making that reference.
Yes, that's what I figured, but I just wanted to be sure, so I appreciate you backing me up on that.
The smartest person on this show.
That's not true, but okay.
No, thank you. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. But go ahead.
All right, so he decides to go and try to stop Turnbull, and during this time he reaches, I guess, the place where they're at, where they have the super weapon and all of the Dragon Balls, and we get to hear Turnbull's long, diatribe or exposition talk about, the weapon, why he's going to use it. Why the U.S. decided they weren't going to use it because they didn't want to wreak havoc on their fellow man. He didn't know we created, if he knew like the future, we created nuclear weapons, and he'd be really surprised. And he decides he wants to use it on the 4th of July. So he's like a terrorist, basically, and pretty much wipe some people out, make a statement. So in the middle of this speech, Jonah Hex comes in. There's a fight. Burke ends up getting the upper hand and nearly kills Jonah. He thinks he killed Jonah Hex, but he, in fact, did not. So Jonah Hex, I know. So he ends up getting, he knows exactly what the plan is. He ends up getting revived by the Native Americans again, I believe, or healed. And so he relays his message to the President Grant, that the plans is to attack the DC on the 4th of July.
Surprised this film didn't include a cameo from Gunsuit Amanda with all this all-star.
No, this is not deserving of a, maybe a Batman or Robin. I can be like Alicia Silverstone.
Is that how you see yourself? Like, okay, cool.
As Alicia Silverstone?
You're a lot prettier than Alicia Silverstone.
Aw, thank you.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you save your ass. All right, go ahead.
Hold on. Yes, I would be a great pitcher for him. I know, you're kidding.
Unless producers are like, hey, you got 5 minutes, go ahead.
I could never do that. I don't know. I'm still working on how to shorten things. See, I was an English major, guys, in college. And so the difference between like English writing versus like business writing and stuff is you draw things out. But when you're like in business, everything has to be short and concise. So it's a lesson I'm still learning almost 12 years after I graduated from college.
Right. What's that got to do with Jonah Hex?
Oh, just my explanation of why my response or my synopsis is so long. All right. So he comes to DC with his horse and his dog, and he goes and tries to stop the metal submarine because, again, this is very futuristic, steampunky in its creation world, Wild Wild West style, and which came out before this, so I'm allowed to say that because that would be a predecessor.
Yeah, you keep going back to that Cisco song. Man, this elevator pitch needs a hell of a long elevator.
It'd be like going all. Never mind. Okay, so he tries to stop them. He gets knocked out. Realizes they captured Lila because they know how important she is to him. I don't know how, but I mean, it doesn't seem like she's that important to him. But okay, and so she uses her lock picking skills with her barrette to pick a lock or to pick their uh, whatever those things are called, and escape. And then they ensue a massive fight on the submarine. That's fairly anticlimactic. And right
Is that how you
before
pronounce it? Huh. Anticlimactic. That's good. I like the way you pronounce every word like this.
syllable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever they are. Those silly things that make up words.
Yes. Okay. And so they have a fight scene where he's fighting Turnbull, and it's like half in or like a reality, like actually on the submarine, and then half not on. So it's kind of
Yeah, the
confusing.
fight scenes were a little weird and confusing.
I know it's like his memory and stuff, but a little strange. And then he ends up killing Turnbull, stops the super weapon, and after he stops the weapon, immediately cuts to President Grant giving him his full pardon and giving him his reward and asking him to be sheriff of the country, which I guess President Grant forgot about the Constitution and and things of that nature, and the fact that countries don't have just one sheriff. And he's respectfully declines, and then him and Lila, I guess, go off together, but not before he goes and apologizes one more time to his friend Jeb at his grave. And that's it, guys.
Andrew Fox, what's up?
Hey, Andrew.
Any relation to Megan? Probably not. Does
Probably
Megan Fox
not.
lean over a drawn carriage with the sun glistening off
No.
of her in this movie?
I mean, no.
No, that shot never happened. Michael Bay did not direct this. Sadly.
Yeah, he did not. No.
Cowboys and Aliens is a good Western. Somebody was asking about
is.
Jonah Hex comics, and I was going to suggest the 52 run. The new 52 run, the Palmiotti.
Can I be honest? My favorite Western, because I don't like Westerns that much. I mean, it's not one of those...
I swear, if it's Wild Wild West, we're done.
No, it's actually Back to the Future 3. Where they go in...
Well, good answer. Good answer. You saved yourself.
They go in the past? Yeah. That might be my favorite Western, because I don't like... It's not a genre for me. I mean, I've tried. It's just...
At one time, Amanda, it was the superhero genre.
Oh, Mike, what happened to the dog? Oh, wait, hold on. Michael Eamon. What happened to the dog? He is with Jonah at the end. So they have a cute relationship.
No stone
unturned.
Left unturned.
Yes.
Back to the Future 3 as your favorite Western. That's great. That's great. I'm a big fan of The Man Who Shot Liberty Balance and Unforgiven. I think those two are probably my favorite ones. But Back to the Future 3 is one of my favorite movies.
I mean,
that's awesome that you love it that much.
That to me is my favorite.
It
Back
might
to the
be
Future
a little
movie too.
It's a little too historically accurate though. A little too much.
I don't care. I'm fine with it. Whatever. It's good. I'm okay with it.
We just rewatched it. I love those movies. So Lydia and Alicia always have to watch them with me.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about this movie now that I've given a synopsis of the film. So let's talk about it. So
okay, usually this is the point when we talk about what did we like about this
yes,
movie.
what did we like? So what did you like about it, Omar? I know you liked Michael Fassbender. Did you?
He was okay. Honestly,
leaning
I think Josh
full into that Irish accent.
Was he really acting? Is he Irish? I don't know much about
No, he's not.
Fassbender.
He's not Irish.
What is he?
I think he's English. Or, well, I'll double check, but I think he's just English.
Okay. I like Josh Brolin as Jonah. Thought he did a good job playing Jonah with what little he had to work with. Megan Fox is pretty.
I don't know if that qualifies, but I guess it's a good thing. Thank God they cast a pretty actress to play this. Tallulah Black is her real name, but she goes by Lila, correct?
Yes.
In the comics. It would have been better if they uglied her up, because isn't she like missing an eye or something in the comics?
Yeah, she looks different in the comics. So, man, I don't... It was
not that I'm saying it has to be the comics, but...
Well, no, you got to change it up, right? You got to
Yeah,
change it
but
up, and
they know she's a pretty face, so they left her looking a certain way.
that goes back to the whole Patterson saying, "I'm not working out to be Batman." Like
Good for him.
when people go to the movies, they look for pretty people to look at, right? That's just it's what it is. You
Oh,
go
it
to
is.
see
I know.
Hollywood pretty women and men.
It's
Um,
true. I do.
it was short, so I didn't have to go through too much.
Yeah.
What about you? What are some of the things you liked? God, I feel bad because I think for Catwoman, I said what the lighting was good. That was that was it. So for this,
Um,
Josh Brolin could have been a really cool Jonah Hex had they
I
actually.
guess.
You
So
didn't like him as Jonah, really?
I
Okay.
didn't. It's not that I didn't like him. I didn't care about the character, and that's not to say that he's a bad actor. I liked him better as Thanos, but again, I think it comes back down to the writing
Back to
and the direction.
Thanos.
Well, no, I'm serious. Even like, he was in No Country for Old Men too, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and
He's a
even then,
great.
I
No,
like.
he's
He's
a
a
great
great
actor.
actor, but unfortunately, I don't think even his acting could make up for the writing in the film. But what I did like about it,
Okay, what did you like? I was gonna say let's focus on the good things before we tear it apart.
I thought it was nice seeing Michael Fassbender. Loved his tattoos.
You did. You like the face tattoos. I
Yeah,
like that.
why not? I mean, okay.
Uh huh.
Uh, what did I like about this film?
Did you like the special effects, like when they blew up the
No,
train? Like I thought that was pretty cool at the beginning.
I yeah, it was okay.
I like practical effects, so I was a fan of
Yeah,
explosions.
I just like it was very hard to keep my attention throughout the entire film. So there wasn't much that I particularly enjoyed, and that could be my personal preference. I at the beginning, I thought it was, I
I mean,
thought it had a. I
were you
liked the
trying to
beginning, so I
okay? Were
liked
you
the
trying to
beginning.
compare it to your favorite like
Western?
western, like Back to
No,
the Future?
not at all. No, I was like, I mean, I've seen a lot of westerns, um, but fan favorite is mine. Is always gonna be Back to the Future 3. Um,
Perfect answer though.
it's not bad.
I love that. I love that movie.
Great movie.
We should review the Back to
Let's do
the
it.
Future
Let's.
trilogy
We have
because those are like top 10
actually
favorite
what we
movies.
should do is we should do a whole segment where we review Western movies I've never seen. That would be fun because I've.
What? Are
It's a
you
John.
serious?
Well, it's a John. I know we're a comic book channel, so it really doesn't count. But there's a ton of Western movies I've never seen because it was never a genre that interests me. I've seen probably more horror movies than I've seen genre.
All right,
Or
you have not you've not seen. Okay,
310 to
this is gonna
Yuma.
sound.
Nope.
I was gonna say this is gonna sound silly
True
because
Grit. My
it's a remake of a remake. But have you seen the original Magnificent Seven? Which yes, of course, is Seven Samurai. But no. Okay, but
Hateful
you've seen
Eight.
the
None of
remake,
that.
right?
A, because it's
You haven't
Django.
seen the Hateful Eight?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude.
No, I've never.
Okay.
And I don't think I've seen. I have seen Django Unchained, but does it count as a Western? Wild
Yeah.
Wild West. I saw that film because
Oh,
it
that
came
is
out
not a
in
western.
the Men in Black High, which I was on when I was like in middle school. What I liked in this was the beginning of the film. I
Okay.
loved the narration. It's good to get the voiceover
It jumps
origin
in
story.
quick.
It jumps in really quick to give us the quick overview of what he does. I like the intersplice of the animation, the live action. I enjoyed that piece. And now is that animation, because I've never seen the comics, is it looks like the comic animation, or is it just animation they used for the film?
No, it's just what they use for the film. Oh my
Okay, which
god, what a
honestly,
great suggestion by Mr. Vic, Blazing Saddles. You've seen
oh, I
that,
have
right?
seen. No, I have not, but I have seen this Once Upon a Time in Mexico because of Johnny Depp.
You've seen Desperado, right?
Yes, I have. Oh, nope. I have seen Tombstone. I lied. I have seen Tombstone.
But have you
My
seen
mom.
the Superior's Tombstone called Wyatt Earp with Kevin
No,
Costner?
no.
No?
I've seen Tombstone with
I think I'm the only guy that prefers Wyatt Earp
Val
over
Kilmer and
Kevin
Kurt
Costner.
Russell because my
It's the
mom is a
same thing.
huge Kurt Russell fan. So we
Oh,
watched that
okay.
when I was young. I did like Tombstone. It was good. It was a great film. Especially Val Kilmer was excellent in it. I thought he was pretty good. But this is not Tombstone.
It has Michael Biehn, one of the greatest actors of all time. Doesn't get enough credit.
I like it ever just Navy, but just Western. See, I feel like there's an interest for us to do like Western films and review them. So, what do you guys think? Okay.
Wear your cowboy hat, Amanda.
Andrew, I don't know if that counts either, but yes, because I've seen a lot of the Jackie Chan movies with like Owen Wilson and any like guy he's with. Like the Chris Tucker ones with Rush Hours and the
I'm
Shanghai Nights
I'm
and
really
Noon
trying
and
to think of my favorite westerns, and I think, yeah, the Man Who Shot Liberty Balance is a freaking
Are you
wonderful
okay?
movie. Yeah, I'm good.
My cat just like sneezed like 8 times.
uh,
I think I can make
Unforgiven.
that happen. I have a 38 special that looks like it would be a cowboy gun that I can just like holster.
You are not gonna be wearing no damn gun on the show, because you know what's gonna happen live. Oops. I don't need. Oh no! Look what happened. 310 to Yuma was nice. That was a good movie. All right. I'm just looking through the suggestions while she catches up. Dennis
I'm
Quaid.
so
Thank you. So
mad.
you see, I'm also a huge fan of Dennis Quaid. You know what was really good was his other film that he directed, Open Range. Kevin Costner directed it. That's why he couldn't be in Kill Bill, because he
Yeah.
was originally supposed to be Bill in Kill Bill, but he couldn't because he was directing Open Range. It took him like 3 years to direct. Got to do a Doctor Who Western episode.
I like that. I like that too. Yeah, that was a great episode
All
because I
hail
love Matt Smith.
regulators. Yes, Young Guns, or as some people like to call it, Young Buns 1 and 2, with Emilio Estevez long before he was in the Mighty Ducks.
Aw, see,
And
we should do. I think people
Lou
are
Diamond
really into
Phillips.
this. People are into this
Amazing,
Western film.
amazing soundtrack by John Bon Jovi. Anyway,
But I think we should do this.
Did we?
This
What? Okay, let's talk about this.
we're talking
movie
about Jonah
first.
Hex, but this
The
is a good
Three
sidetrack.
Amigos.
If you guys,
Oh, sorry, you guys are great.
I would
The
watch
Three
that.
Amigos.
Yeah, I would.
True
Yeah,
Grit, both the original and the new
yes.
one are freaking
See,
awesome.
I think this is a good. This is a good thing we should do. I know it was a we kind of circumvented from our discussion, but
Not
guys,
the word I thought you were gonna go with.
I am super into this idea. Let's do some of this. Let's do it.
That's 2 glasses of wine, Amanda. Let's ask her tomorrow when she's like, "What the hell did I suggest? Watching a western?"
I'll watch westerns as long as I can find them. Okay, so yeah, what I liked the most was the beginning, and I think that I almost had wished, because this guy clearly is an animation guy, because if you look at his credits, this Hathaway, or Hayward, he does a lot of animation, in addition to directing a few animated films. So it really would have been cool to see him take that approach to the film. And I know Warner Brothers probably has a lot to do, has a lot of their hands in the pot, so maybe that wasn't the idea, but it would have been cool to maybe see that as a different approach. But that's what I liked the most, was that beginning portion with the voiceover narration of his origin story combined with the animation. So that's what I liked. So
Okay.
You want to talk about what you didn't like?
Yeah, I did. I do.
He's like, I did, but I don't now.
This was not a good movie. I try to find the good in a lot of things, and I'm trying to keep an open mind. Like I said, I think Brolin with a better script, maybe it could have helped. Like if it was a little longer, but then because I don't think I was, for such a short movie. I got bored a couple of times, but it was okay. The pacing was actually pretty decent, I thought. Right?
No, the pacing was fine, but I think my biggest issue with the film is, and this is why, for me, Josh Brolin, while I guess he could have been a better Jonah Hex, it fell flat, is I felt that there was no true character development. Like, the character starts in a place and is supposed to end up in a place, right? A different place than where they started. That's typically how
the hero's journey is.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, he's an anti-hero, but at the same time, it's still similar path. Especially when you have characters like Jeb talking about how he's a monster because he's trying to take his pain away and blah, blah. But he doesn't really change. He gets his revenge. So he gets his vengeance in a way. He still, at the end of the day, kills to take everything away. I guess he's killing for the United States, but it doesn't come across clear enough that he cares about the Union. Because if that's what this development is supposed to be, I didn't see it. So what is he gonna be with Lila? I didn't get that from the film. Like, this journey where she clearly wants a relationship and he doesn't care, to like where he wants one. Like, there was just he seemed like the same character that started the film. and that's it. So there was no progression of character, and I think that's the main issue I had with the film, which pretty much hurt the film overall, because there's, you know, nothing we're rooting for, I guess, in a sense. What are we rooting for him? To be a better man, to get over his revenge, to actually be a part of the union and help out, to
You missed the
get
point,
with,
Amanda. The
did
story is
did I miss the point?
yeah, the point was
Damn.
it's the story of Megan Fox and
She's barely in it.
How she redeems herself as a hooker. I'm sorry, a lady of the evening, falls in love with his character, and they want to ride out into the sunset.
No, I don't even see that. Their relationship is just thrown together so haphazardly. And I'm sorry, she's not a good actress. She looks pretty when she's holding a gun.
How dare you?
But she's not a good actress. I would have. There's so many actresses who could have taken that role.
Weren't you and Maddie talking about Jennifer's Body? Is that what you were talking about?
No, I don't like that film.
I thought you did.
No, she does. I don't like it. I've never seen Jennifer's Body, but I don't think I would like it. I didn't like her in Transformers or anything else that I've seen her in.
She was the best part of Transformers.
No, Shia LaBeouf was the best part of Transformers. For me. Because I found him attractive. Remember, we talked about this. My Seth Cohen, curly hair, grew up like with this obsession with men with, nerdy guys with curly hair. Okay, anyways.
Like all the nerdy dudes with curly hair in the chat right now are like,
yeah, there's a chance.
There's always a chance if Megan Fox has taught us anything.
No.
Okay, so.
Okay.
I did not like the directing at all.
Well, and that's
that was one of my biggest issues. Other than Jonah Hex, Josh Brolin, which you didn't like, I thought everybody else is kind of bland and boring. Even, we're talking about...
even John Malkovich is the same character he always plays, pretty much. I mean, I've seen him in so many things. He was in Bird Box, right? Like, I mean, but he plays a very similar character. To me, he plays a very similar character.
Weird character?
Yes.
Jesse, I'm sorry. Peter Cullen voicing Optimus Prime, of course, is the only good thing in that movie. You're right.
What?
Shia LaBeouf,
no, he did not. Have you guys seen? No. Have you
all seen Peanut Butter Candy?
Falcon?
Not that good of a movie.
No, or the film he directed about his father, where he plays his father like in the fictional.
That's the one.
Honey Boy. Oh my gosh. Come on. Have you seen Honey Boy?
Hello?
I loved him in Holes. I don't know why you got Holes, Battle Shaker Heights. Why am I just giving you guys all of Shia LaBeouf's filmography right now? But like,
he's only done like 10 movies.
True. But Honey Boy. He was excellent in Honey Boy. I don't know why no one has seen
best part of that movie is when I remember somebody reviewed the movie and like, hey, if you're not a Shia LaBeouf
Fury, right? That's Fury, right?
Yeah, Fury.
He was in Fury, yeah.
He gets knocked off like within the first 15 minutes. I'm like, done. That dude represents everything that like. I mean, to a lot of us, not
Thank
me.
you. I loved Eagle Eye too. He could have been.
Okay. I get it. I get your crush on him.
And I don't care about the Indiana Jones stuff.
I'm gonna murder you. I wish I could go across the screen.
Do it. Come at me. Come at me right now.
Don't put yourself there. To some of us, he represents the franchises that we once loved.
That was also a fantastic film.
Like destroying them. And I realize it's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
With Indiana Jones 4 and with Transformers, it was like all these childhood things that we loved. He represents all the things that went wrong with it. I don't think I can forgive him for swinging with monkeys in Indiana Jones 4, even though it was not his fault.
Give him when it's not his fault.
How can you hold Josh Brolin accountable for his
I don't
portrayal?
hold him accountable.
Okay.
Because obviously I said he could have been better if it wasn't for the writing and the directing of the film. I'm not holding him accountable for that, the fact that I really didn't connect with his Jonah Hex. I'm just saying that it would have been better. And then here's another thing I didn't like about Jonah Hex. What was the tone of the film? Because it
was a romantic comedy, is what you said earlier. It's a
No, I did not. Did I say no? That was Catwoman. No, there was like it took itself seriously, but at the same time there was like some self-sarcasm there, which I didn't like, and it's because of Jonah Hex makes some comments that kind of come across as sarcastic and like self, like they're just whatever the word is. I can't think of it now because I'm getting drunk. But the tone just didn't seem to mesh all the time, which was very confusing. So pick a lane. Are we going like balls the walls, Wild Wild West? Or are we going True Grit
Like
style,
Wild Wild West, like Will
like
Smith's Wild Wild West.
yes, Wild Wild West, Jim
Balls to the
West,
wall.
Desperado,
Oh
Rough
no,
Rider?
oh
No, you
no,
know
she's
what?
drunk.
None of this. Trick
Oh
none of this.
man.
That's right.
And we just get
Buffalo Soldiers.
demonetized.
Look, it's like I told you. Oh my
We just
god!
got demonetized
Because I
because you
rat.
sound just like Will Smith.
I don't
Yes.
sound anything like
No, you
it.
do not. But I was just tooting your horn.
I really did like that song because I liked all of Will
So
Smith
who's
back
gonna go
then.
watch X now? Do yourself a favor
First
and
of all,
still watch it.
if you have
Oh my
HBO
god,
Max, I mean,
my
why not
ears are
watch it?
bleeding.
Oh, shut up.
I mean, she's no Nicki Minaj, but she's
No,
up
I'm
there.
not.
She's pretty good. She's pretty good.
I'm more
I've
like
never
Iggy
seen
Azalea.
Wild Wild West. All
I
right.
did do the Daisy Ridley rap. Yes, that's right. Oh, y'all should see me do my 8 Mile, but you won't see it tonight.
It's a 60 just back in the day, my ladies usually relaxed a lot more when I gave them some wine. Amanda, what are you drinking?
It is.
That could go into the creepy
So
area
that's
too.
it's called Starlight Red. It's from Huber Winery in Indiana. Very good wine. Ask Omar. We usually go there because his brother Tommy loves this place, and we go there quite often because he has a wine club membership, so we can get free tastings.
Not anymore because ain't nobody
Because of
going
COVID.
nowhere, right? Nobody's going anywhere. Amanda, the only rapper whiter than Snow.
That's
Whoa,
right.
Snow! Hey, I don't care, man. Snow was the shit back in 1994. So, oh, everybody want to be Snow.
Oh, this is all I need. Troy Barnes approved. That's all I need for the night.
Oh boy. Oh man.
Thank you, Jesse. I love Troy Barnes.
She does. So what other good thing did you like about this?
I already told you I didn't like a lot of things about the film. I just thought it was clunky. It was I didn't feel like any of the action sequences were quite innovative. Like I said, there's a lot of lackluster to me in the film. Like I said, it was hard to hold my attention throughout the entire film. And I didn't. Okay, here's something I didn't like. It's the color saturation, of how the film was, or the colors in the film. I guess the tone of the film, itself. I wasn't a fan of it as much as I thought I'd be, but I think it comes down to that kind of tonage, like that, how everything's like heavily saturated, like very vibrant colors, right? That's how a lot of the film was. It didn't work for me in the film, and I don't know why. It felt very off-putting. So I wasn't a fan of that either.
So you didn't like the color schemes?
Because they do it throughout the entire thing, and then there's portions of it where they do it also in like the fantasy or like the dream sequences. So it would have been better if it was like a more realistic tone to the film, like earthy sepia kind of tones, and then when you get to the dream sequences, more fantastical colors, heavily saturated like tones.
Well, yeah, and they're really weird because they really look like they are off. Like it looks so bad because it looks like it's on a green screen the entire time.
Yes,
like they're doing some testing. Like
that's what it felt like. Yes, it didn't feel like it was fully formed. So that was a big problem I had right off the get go. Getting past the voiceover part, we get to the present day of him starting to be or being a bounty hunter. So
I think it was sadly it was a waste of talent. There were a lot.
There's so many good actors in this film.
In here. I mean, Megan Fox. And then you had the girl from Transformers and the girls from Jennifer's Body. Megan Fox. No, I'm just kidding. Like, there were some great actors, and honestly, the only one that I didn't have a problem with was Josh Brolin. It was a clunky movie that, for 81 minutes, is what somebody said. Is that right?
Yes, yes. It's very short.
Just was a big. I'm gonna say it. I know you liked the movie, but it felt to me like it was a big waste of time, like Wild Wild West.
Oh, I didn't say I
That's
like Wild Wild West. I mean,
oh
it's not my
well,
favorite
you were
West, but
rapping
I
it,
would
so
rather
I
watch
assumed.
that than
Mm,
watch this film. I would
here's
watch
the
because
real
it's like a
question:
guilty pleasure film.
Would you rather watch Catwoman than this?
Yes. Because
But at least with Catwoman, we had
for
the
the
basketball scene.
for the soundtrack alone, scandalous, it's
Oh
scandalous.
God, there it goes,
You move
demonetized
so
again.
scandalous. It's all about the two of us. The one night stand just ain't enough. Like just for the soundtrack
Are you
alone.
done? Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, you got it out. What would you give this movie out of 10? And for anybody that has seen it in the chat, let us know. What would you give this movie out of 10, Amanda?
Yes. Okay.
Yes, you.
So first of all, just so you guys know, for rating sakes, IMDb has a
Mm,
4.7 out of 10, Metacritic 33, 12% on Rotten Tomatoes,
12.
and
Wow.
and I would give this a solid 2 out of
Well,
10.
2 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 10. I liked it. Honestly, I realized that Catwoman is a shit movie, and I will probably watch it again before I watch this. But I have to be fair because this is a better movie than Catwoman. At least people were trying. In Catwoman, it didn't seem like anybody
I
was
think they
trying.
were all trying in both movies,
The
but you
the
have to
pre-
think about the time periods. Like for me, it's about the time period. So Catwoman, they were trying. They were trying to appeal to a certain. Stop! Like they
No,
were
go
trying
ahead
to
with your
appeal
no,
to a
go
certain
ahead, go
audience.
ahead with your argument.
In 2010, they were trying to appeal to a certain aesthetic of superhero movies or westerns, and neither position worked in either case.
Two and a half, 2.5 out of 10. 2.5 out of 10. I mean, it's just I didn't like it, but if people liked it, that's awesome. More
Yeah,
power
I
to you.
mean, I am not faulting anyone for liking it because I like you all know. I just said I would rather watch Wild Wild West, and we all know it's a terrible movie.
I don't know if I would rather watch Wild Wild West. They were both pretty equally as bad, but I think uh, rewatching this again was just as
Don't
exciting
make
as
me
the
start
first time.
rapping. We going straight to the
That's not rap.
Wild
That's not.
Wild
Will
West.
somebody
We
please tell her
going
that's not
straight.
rapping?
I know it's Cisco's part though.
You give negative number. That's rough, man. Even Catwoman, which is probably the worst movie we've seen here on this segment, got a 1 out of 10 because I like the lighting.
Okay, so Matthew, when I meant certain audience, so for Catwoman, like we discussed when we watched Catwoman, they felt like they were trying to appeal to almost the rom-com. They were trying to give a movie
Yes.
they were trying to make a superhero movie for women because of this, like in my opinion, because as an avid rom-com watcher in the very early 2000s.
Me too, Rick Nelson. Me too. I'm sorry, Amanda. Have you
Anyway,
reviewed Hancock? No,
we
but
have
Amanda
not
really
yet.
likes that movie.
You said I really like that movie?
Yeah, you really like Hancock.
I never said I really
I'm
like
pretty
that
sure
movie.
you told me we should watch it because you
I
love
think we should watch it because I think it's a decent film and it's an interesting, but I don't say I like it.
Okay.
But anyways, so that's why I say a certain audience. Like I think Catwoman was trying to attract women into comic book movies and get them to watch it.
No.
Even though when you look at the
Catwoman was made for basketball.
You're right, Jesse Christian. It was. If you were into basketball and Benjamin Bratt, you need to watch Catwoman.
And Halle Berry's booty.
And Halle
Do we
Berry's
still have that? You deleted it.
Well, I was trying to make
How
room. I think
dare
I get
you.
confusing. The drunker I get. Okay, anyways.
Well, keep going, Amanda. That one never
Oh.
gets old.
Wait, you watch How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? One of my favorite rom-coms.
Oh, boy,
Those
you
two
opened
had
up that
Matthew
can of worms.
McConaughey and
Heath Ledger.
no, oh my God, why can't I think of her name? Goldie Hawn's.
Oh, Julia Stiles.
No, Goldie Hawn's daughter who makes Fabletics. I can't think of her actual name, but I can think of everything associated with her.
Julie something.
Hey Hudson,
That's what I meant.
they
we kept Toby, but
had
not
great-
Catwoman. That's right. What happened, man? Why we keep Toby and not Catwoman?
Wait, do we have some? Wait, he wants to know how many shirtless Henry.
Did we keep any?
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh,
We did.
Damn it, Amanda.
Oh wait, where we go? There we go. There it is. Oh God. That's a man.
There's mine. Yes. I have no idea
Yes,
why you
she knows how to
kept.
play bullshit very well, and that was awesome. That whole movie was fantastic, especially their little duet about with "You're So Vain." So, oh, you're just switching out of it. Let's do a rom-com one.
I'm just highlighting the chat. I'm a
Good
bit late.
morning,
What's up,
Christopher.
Christopher? Good morning. Kate Hudson is my mortal enemy. I want to hear that story. Did she like
Yes,
cut in
why
line
is
in
Kate
front of
Hudson?
you
What
at like
happened?
an amusement park?
Is it because she's
Um,
related to Goldie Hawn?
she was everywhere at one time.
She was. Now I just buy her athletic clothes.
If you scroll back to when Amanda was singing, her cat froze up and fell off the top of the sofa.
Did he really?
Oh, we gotta watch that again if that's true.
Did you? They're over here. Look, I'll show you guys. So there's O'Brien. Hey, buddy. And there's Ruru. Ruru, look over here. Look, say hi. Look over here. Say hi. Hi, Ruru. She's like, God, get away from me, Mom. Okay, sorry.
All right. So what did you give this movie?
A 2 out of 10.
Two out of 10. I gave it 2.5. Out of 10. Did you lose a bride worse to her?
No, I
Goldie
did
Hawn is
not.
cool. Kate, on the other hand, really,
Ah!
is there some something I don't know about Amanda? What is up,
I mean,
Shonda Sook? What's up, my dude? Yeah, what did
that's right, Shonda Sook. Stream. We do not stream responsibly. This is why I should not drink as much.
we are the Janet Jackson of streamers. You never know when you're
Yeah,
gonna see a
but
nip
this
slip.
is what our Wednesday nights are. We've been getting through this quarantine and everything that's going on, and it
Oh,
kind
her
of
ass is from Kentucky, folks. She just said quarantine.
quarantine brings me some joy.
Does Amanda have a good, a bad, and an ugly cat? No,
I just
she
have
does
one
not.
cat.
She has one cat.
But someone said we should review cats, and I would love for us to go back and
No.
make Omar watch
Hell no.
because we saw it as a family in theaters, and I kept looking back, and Omar's face as we watched that film was
There
more
was
enjoyable than the film itself.
there was no amount of joy in my face. Like, it was so bad. Kate Hudson, Almost Famous. That's right.
In that.
She was awesome in
You
that
know, I
movie.
love Goldie Hawn and Banger Sisters. If anyone's seen that with Susan Sarandon, Jeffrey Rush,
Banger Sisters. Is that a
Mhm.
newer movie?
and Susan Sarandon's daughter was in it. Played her actual daughter. Yeah, it was a cute movie. I liked it a lot.
What year is that movie? I've never heard of that movie.
Banger Sisters, like 2003, 2004, I think, maybe.
I think the last thing I saw Goldie Hawn in was a movie with what's her name, Amy Schumer, where she played her mom and they got kidnapped like in a third world
You're
country.
right. They did. Yeah. Okay. That's right. I don't remember that film, but because my Amy Schumer movie is the one with Bill Hader in it,
I just
where she
remember
does her
Goldie Hawn
dance.
in the 80s, like Overboard or First Wives Club. That was
My mom
90s.
loved Goldie Hawn,
Death
man.
Becomes Her. Did you ever see
Oh,
Death Becomes Her?
Death
No, that's
Becomes
not.
Her so good with Meryl Streep. Oh,
What
and
was
isn't Richard, what's his name, Dreyfuss in it too? He plays the.
Oh, is it Richard Dreyfuss
No,
or
it's
is it
Bill.
Kevin
It's Bruce
Kline?
Willis. It's Bruce Willis.
Willis, yeah.
It's Bruce Willis.
Trying to
Sorry.
think of what was the football movie? Was it Wildcats with her in it? She was like a coach.
Private. What is that movie? My mom made me watch it. It was
Private
Private.
Benjamin.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that film too.
Yep, she was
Beverly.
in that movie.
Was she in Beverly Hills?
In and Out of Beverly Hills. Or?
No, the Scout movie where they were Girl Scouts. Beverly Hill Troop, I think it was called. Man,
I don't
Goldie
know
Hawn
that
did
one.
great stuff.
Yeah, Overboard's on Blu-ray for $5 at Target, and it was Wildcats. Yes, yes.
Anyone watch the Overboard they made recently with Anna Faris and that Hispanic actor, which I can't remember his name?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, Shelley Long. Thank you. Okay, so it wasn't her. Shelley
Beverly
Long.
Hills. Shelley Long was in.
The Beverly Hill Troops. Hmm.
She was.
Sorry,
wasn't
it's getting my
she in
white women actors with blonde hair confused for a second.
Cheers. Wasn't Shelley Long in Cheers?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't her son an actor too? I think he was in Scream Queens or something. I don't know. Oh, we did Daredevil. We did Daredevil
A few weeks ago.
A few weeks, month.
Yeah,
month
we
or two
couldn't,
ago.
even though after seeing a lot of Ben Affleck lately, man, I wish they'd do something more with his Batman.
Yeah, I mean we can do Justice League, but let's move on to let's next week.
Jonah Hex? Are
Let's
we still saying that?
no, we're done with Jonah Hex. This is part of the show where we just talk about everything and talk to the chat.
Well, that's
Um,
true. We've reached that point. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of my notes on Jonah Hex, and it automatically pulls up Silver Surfer.
Daredevil is so bad, y'all could do it twice. You know what? I feel like Catwoman is that bad that we can
Yeah,
do
I
it twice,
still would have
and
preferred one.
and and literally just for one reason. So I have an excuse to use that
Wait, are you
amazing clip.
talking about the 2015 Fantastic Four? Because we did that. That was our first movie we did.
Quarantine is that
Is
like
that
Ovaltine for
Ovaltine?
Kentuckians?
It sure is.
I mentioned the Spirit. We've done a lot. Man, we've done a lot of not like and
We've
it's
done a
weird
lot of
because
DC
but
films.
it's been a really good mix of like yes they're low rated but we still enjoy them like they're really good films because sometimes they're low rated for no reason other than the fact like for example Man of Steel I think we both were like that's not a bad movie but it's one of the lowest rated Superman films whereas Fantastic Four is horrible. We've done Fan Four Stick. That was our very
Mhm.
first movie. That's what
That was our
kicked it
very
off.
first movie we did. Justin has a question for me too. Master
uh,
Universe, good suggestion.
yep, go ahead, hit it.
Justin, Amanda, even though I think the Oscars are pointless, do you think they will ever recognize any animes or animes and other than the one done by Studio Ghibli? Times are changing. There's a possibility we'll see a little bit more diversity. They say it every year, right? But the Oscars are still the Oscars. The Academy is still the Academy. And it's still run by a certain sect of Hollywood elite, right? So there is a chance that we might see more. I was really surprised by the winner this year or last
We
year in
were all
2019
surprised for
because that was
Parasite,
no, not
right?
that. No, no, not that. I mean the animated film.
Oh, well, Parasite is an anime, but all right, go ahead.
But it's a possibility. Let's never count it out because I think we're going to start to see some real changes, and especially since we already know the Oscars are most likely to get pushed back because of everything that's going on. Because if the Oscars go on at this point, Robert Downey Jr. has a chance to get nominated for Doctor Dolittle because that was like literally one of the only films that came out in 2020 so far.
Well, a lot of it is going to streaming. You have a lot of independent films coming out too.
Yes, but that again, see, the Academy hasn't changed their ruling though
It has to be in a
about
theater.
it has to. That's why Amazon.
Oh,
That's why Netflix aired the black and white Hispanic film that came out 2 years ago briefly in theaters, enough time to be considered for an Academy Award.
Roma.
Roma, yes, thank you, I appreciate it.
That's your
Because
co-host.
yes, because they require a certain amount of time in theaters. Now, whether or not they change the rules is up in the air, but so far the only movies that have really, besides independent, but there are still independent films in theaters because there's a number of them. Me and my cousin Tommy, Omar's brother, watched
It's a complicated
the
relationship.
Ned Kelly, the new Ned Kelly movie that came out recently with Nicholas Hoult. That was whew, out there to say the least. And so that is in theaters technically, but also coming out streaming, so you could do both. But there's a lot of bigger movies, right, that are waiting and pushing their release dates back. So it's going to be up to the Academy if they change those rulings or not. As far as I know, they haven't changed that ruling.
Christopher Wilson, Heroes in Crisis is one of the worst books I have also read this year. It was I don't know. Maybe we'll do an old reader, new reader, and see what the ladies think. I know Maddie hates it, but I think to me it's
I
just
would
as
like
bad
to
as
read it
Identity
because
Crisis.
go ahead.
And yes, I am so excited for
Yes,
that
I am
movie.
so excited for Tenet. Have you guys seen the trailer for Tenet? Because it looks fantastic.
So we have a couple questions. Have we done Keanu Reeves
We have
Constantine? We
not.
have not. Is it considered low? What about Watchmen? Is it considered like a low?
I'll have to
Low?
do some. I'll have to do some my
But so the
IMDb.
rules is like we look at the rating of 3 different places and then do an average of it, and if it lows, like it scores low enough. Sometimes it surprises me what some of these movies score. Like literally, I thought Superman Returns was lower than Man of Steel, but apparently I was wrong.
Yeah,
Watch
I'm
Steel.
surprised
That
that
was one of the ones we put up. We really thought we were gonna end up watching Supergirl or Steel. I thought I
we
was
were.
gonna have
I
to
was
watch Steel.
surprised that everyone picked
Jonah
I mean,
Hex.
Constantine
Not everybody.
has a 46% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 50% on Metascore, but a 7% on IMDb.
70?
Seven out
Oh,
of
7.
10, so
7 out of 10.
70%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good rating for that movie.
Yeah. What
What
was the
about
other movie?
Watchmen? I didn't have a
Watchmen.
problem with Watchmen. I thought Watchmen was pretty good, but I wonder if it did.
Not as good as that series though. That was awesome.
Yeah, that movie what is.
Uh,
Exactly. That
Watchmen
is
had a 56 Metascore, and then on Rotten Tomatoes it has a 65, so that wouldn't be considered low rated. According to some of our estimates, Constantine would make the bubble. How to still not win? Well, Tevin, it all is up to you guys. So clearly, people just would rather hear us talk about Jonah Hex
you sound
than
like a
Chet.
politician. Tevin, this is all on you. You got to go
It's
out there
all
and make
you
the vote.
guys. Make that vote.
We got a
You
mail-in
have the
ballot
power.
happening.
Vote, buddy, and then we'll see a difference.
Supergirl has the best villain ever. Yes. This one, I had such a crush on her, man.
You know,
I think
Matt.
that's what happens when we
Matthew,
both click on it.
Matthew, I think the voting is rigged. I really thought Supergirl was going to win or steal because a lot of people kept talking about those two films. So I was surprised when Jonah Hex won it out.
I'll admit I didn't vote. That come on, man.
Kevin, this
your
is
voice ain't
just
heard,
like
dude.
American politics. If you don't vote, you can't tell us what to do next.
Now she really sounds like a politician. Look at her. Every vote counts.
Rock
Dude.
that vote, just like P. Diddy did.
Oh no! Don't start singing, please. Not again.
No,
Who
I'm
the
just saying.
losers? Oh, the losers. Hey, Canadian Invincible Comics. What did you like about this movie, brother? I know
Yes, because you
you said
loved it.
you were ready to take up for it. I don't know if you were joking or not, but if you liked it, yeah, I'd like to know what you liked about it. The whole system breaks down when you don't vote.
Andrew Fox.
I feel like there's a stronger message here tonight.
A stronger message.
Yes, she was, and I had a crush on her then too, especially when she cut her hair. And you got that song by what's her name? Enemy. Oh my God, what is her name? Pat Benatar.
What song was it? We are young.
No, God,
Heartache
no,
to heartache. We
Stop
stand.
it.
I was 13 going on 30.
Demonetized us.
I am just keep talking about my rom-coms, guys.
Omar was caught stuffing the ballot. No, I was.
Maybe Hayden said Tomb Raider movies. That would be a good point. Ooh, it would be cool to do an
episode. If we're gonna do that, then we can do He-Man.
Well, I was thinking about like movies that eventually were turned into comics would be a good would be a good week to try.
Okay.
Like maybe they didn't start off as comics, but they became comics.
Well, let's ask the chat while we got people on. What do y'all want to see next Wednesday? Do you guys want to see the lowest rated MCU movies again?
Thank you, Greg.
It's Invincible, but yes, I'm not gonna say. Or would you rather us do something from canon films? So we would make it either He-Man, Masters of the Universe, or Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, or Punisher. I don't know. What kind of movies do you all want us to see?
Let's see. Wow, we've got a Witchblade the show.
I don't know about watching the entire show.
Django said Wolverine Origins.
Is that the one? That's the sequel, right? Because Wolverine. No, the Wolverine is the sequel. I always mix them up. I guess Amanda's frozen. She'll takes her a minute to think.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to call Spectrum and curse them out and threaten to go to AT&T.
Did you see the picture I sent you?
Yeah, I did. It wasn't that good.
It was really flattering.
Electra. Well, Jesse, we had Electra up in our Femme Fatale and everyone voted Catwoman. But we could always put her up again for something else. Lars also thinks The Losers would be a good...
that's the second time somebody said that.
Is that the one that had the Smash Mouth song? Nope. Okay.
What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking of Mystery Men.
Shrek? Are you thinking of Shrek?
No. But clearly Michael Myers. Never mind. That was Ben Stiller. So just forget me, guys.
What are you doing? What is happening here?
Fox's Hercules, like the one with
the TV show?
Or the TV show. Or are you talking about the one with The Rock?
Oh my God, Howard the Duck.
We haven't even. Yeah.
Okay, Huh. We used to watch Mel Brooks film if Amanda has never. She's seen some. Men in Tights. You've never
Oh
seen
God, yes.
Spaceballs though. That was it.
I would
Remember
love to watch
you
Spaceballs,
and I were talking about doing a segment when we were doing Reels Talk on a weekly basis, which is kind of what we're doing now.
which is kind of what we're doing now. At
Except
some
for
point,
watching
bad
bad
superhero movie.
films. Where we go and watch movies that you haven't seen before. That was a lot of fun. That was a good idea.
That was
Because
a good idea, and
I
cons-
love those movies. So
and technically a lot of the films that we've been watching for this segment are movies I've never seen before. Except for Catwoman, I thought I had never seen, but apparently I did because everything was very familiar.
yeah, especially that dance party or that dance part in the basketball scene.
Ooh, this would be an interesting Dredd versus Judge Dredd, like doing like a comparison piece.
Dredd is amazing. I love Dredd, the new movie, right?
And
Judge
that's
Dredd,
with
not
Carl
so
Urban,
much.
right?
Yes, Dredd is
And
freaking.
isn't Lena Headey in that film as well?
Yeah, she's the villain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I have never seen Young Frankenstein.
Oh,
Men in Tights, I think
wow.
it's only Mel Brooks.
But you haven't seen Blazing Saddles, right?
No, but I have seen this movie.
Oh,
I've seen it quite a few times, so we could review it because I couldn't defend that film.
You and I were texting, and I was like, "That was the death of Sean Connery's acting career." And you're like, "He did something after that." You found some rare CG voice acting that he did, probably like 20 years ago that he recorded.
Yeah, I found something really rare. Hayden, are you talking about Sky High?
Sky High
with Danielle Panabaker.
That had Kirk Russell, right?
It had Kurt Russell in it. Yeah, he played Drake Bell's dad. Yeah.
Dude, Basketball. I love that movie. Those are the guys that did South Park.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna touch it anymore. I'm not gonna touch it anymore, guys. I promise. I just really have to go to the
Just
bathroom.
let me do my thing, and then you can guide.
Can I go to the bathroom really fast during that?
Yeah, you don't have to ask.
I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. Talk to Omar because I can't take
Yeah, because I don't know what I'm doing now that she left. It's not like I do shows by myself. Thank you so much, Ancient Zero. Blazing Saddles is good. My wife, Melanie, loves Super Mario Brothers. Like, loves it. Defends it to this day. I was not a fan. And basically because I was a fan of the video games. So when I went to go see the movie, it was not the video game. It was John Leguizamo and who was Bob Hoskins. That's right. Who, by the way, Bob Hoskins, Chris Claremont wanted to play Wolverine in a X-Men movie back in the 80s. So pretty cool. Sean Connery passed on The Matrix and Lord of the Rings, but chose League. Jeez. Well, I mean, I think League just broke him, right? League he had to go back and edit, and he was done.
I'm so sorry. I'm back.
You don't have to apologize. You really don't have to tell us where you're going. You just be like, I'll be right back.
Well, I'm drunk, and I feel like I know you all so well at this point. And you're like all my best friends.
I haven't seen that Christopher Wilson. You're in for a rude awakening, Amanda.
What have you said about me? Try to scroll up and see what nasty things are.
Oh my God, is she even white?
Yes, I did.
Front to back, front to back.
I'm sorry.
I didn't watch her hits everyone. She was in such a rush. I love the fact that you're still drinking too. That's probably the best part of that bathroom break. Bob Hoskins almost died during the making of the Mario movie.
Really?
Man.
I'm just Mushroom Classics, and I love watching the cat. I'm sorry, this is like so unprofessional, but it's Wednesday, guys, and I've had a really emotional week.
To see professional Amanda, you need to go back to last week or the week before that. Or the week before that. No, there was one time when you were unzipping your shirt. I'm like, whoa. I realize you're drunk, but you may not realize you're live. There, Janet Jackson. Oh, dude, the Raid is so good. And it's a comic book now? I love
it. See, there's a lot of
the first one's freaking awesome.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yes.
Bob Hoskins. No, he doesn't pay me for any of this.
What are you doing?
He doesn't pay me.
I don't get paid. What are you talking
You
about?
better get paid.
Not for this.
You should.
We don't not talking about this right now.
We're gonna air it all on air, guys. Damn right. My nipple's gonna come out any second. I just know it. It's gonna happen.
She's gonna be the reason why YouTube channels have to have a 30-second delay now.
Yes. Hayden said, "What about doing low-rated DC animated movies?" Which I'd be interested. I don't know which ones
Killing
are.
Joke, dude. That Killing
Yeah,
Joke
I watched
movie was
that because
horrible.
now that that's on HBO Max, I got to see that. That'd be interesting to do
That's
a
a good
review.
idea. And somebody had mentioned like anime or manga that had been turned into movies. It's a good one too.
That's a good one too.
It's a good idea. The Raid was amazing, and then they remade it as Dread. Yeah. Was it the same hotel? Or, I'm sorry, apartment complex? That's what it felt like.
Yeah, go watch. Everyone can watch. I can't clean himself.
John Woo's the Killer's freaking awesome. Nipplegate.
I would love actually. Yeah, Dragon Ball movie.
Man, that Dragon Ball movie was horrendous.
Oh, 2016 just is a good idea. Someone mentioned Carl Urban. How about a series of reviews on video game movies? That would be interesting because I've
Resident Evil. None of them are good. Silent Hill.
I have
Silent
yet to
Hill
see
is
one.
okay.
I even saw the Halo movie that came out. There was a Halo movie that came out. I think it was straight to DVD maybe, but me and Corey watched it. It was a live action.
Nipple mint condition. I don't know if it's mint. Maybe. Never mind.
Guys, I washed my hands. I just did it fast.
Who
Okay,
are you arguing with? No one's
Mushroom
questioning
Classic. Right? Jenny the Manta.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Yes, exactly. When the actual story of the Killing Joke started, the Alan Moore stuff, right? Not the crap that they added at the beginning. Jeez.
Yeah, what was that? Because I remember reading the Killing Joke, so I was
Killing
really
Joke
confused.
is only like
yeah, I read it and I was like,
pages.
did they
It's
just
not very
add
long.
to it to make it a full-fledged like movie length, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird choice that they decided to do.
Oh, DJ Sickrick is right. I've never seen Sonic yet, but Detective Pikachu actually was very enjoyable.
We reviewed that.
We reviewed it, yeah.
Yeah, we did. And those were good. Those were good. We reviewed Battle Angel Alita. That was a good one.
Yes, that's true.
The black lights. No.
My cat left. You guys embarrassed my poor cat, Orion. Can you tell me who Orion is named after?
The belt. Peter said, I like Killing Joke movie. The Batgirl prelude bit gives it. I think that's like Peter, I'm the type of guy, man. I don't know. I just get one thing really does it for me sometimes, right? One thing can either sometimes make or break things for me. And I try to look at the overall thing, but yeah, I just couldn't get past that. It's Bruce Timm trying to make his Babs and Bruce. Oh my god. Yeah, that's pretty much what it felt like. Detective Pikachu was cool. Men in Black 2. Amanda reviewed Men in Black.
No, he's saying about my cat.
Oh, he got it.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
no,
right.
Men in Black International is what you're thinking. And yes, I did review it, and I didn't give it a good review. But yes, I named him Orion because of Men in Black 2. Because that was the cat's name, and Orion's belt was the
galaxy.
The galaxy on the collar.
I wish they would use DC Animation to make movies about lesser known but awesome characters like Blue and Gold, Vixen, Animal Man, Blue Devil. That would be a good one. Question. Omar, will DC put out a Martin Pasco tab or collection opinions? Probably, but I can't even get a straight answer out of the things that are canceled these days. Kitty Cat in Men in Black 2. Boy, everybody knows. Okay.
That's right. Good job, guys.
Green Hornet. I think that one's another bad one. So yeah,
we put that in one of our polls.
Yeah, we put that. It didn't get picked. We put the Spirit in one of our polls. It didn't get picked. We put what's it called? The Shadow in one of our polls. It didn't get picked. And Men in Black is a comic. That's right.
Yeah, it is.
I do pay the kitty.
No, he doesn't pay him the kid. He doesn't pay the cat.
I do. Omar,
I have a cool. Oh, I'll show you what I have. Hold on.
Okay. Omar, when are we getting those solicitations? Tomorrow, live at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Is that The Art of Men in Black? What is that?
It's a storybook by Jane Mason based on the screen story and screenplay by Ed Solomon. It's like the whole story of Men in Black.
Is that for your kid or for yourself?
This came out. When I bought it, when it first came out, it was for me. It was like, what year did this come out? 1999.
1990. 97, I
So
think.
I was
Yeah,
in
yeah.
middle school. So this came out when I was in middle school. So my mom brought me a bunch of old stuff. So I got this that was found in this old book of things.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever happened to her, huh? Right? Like, okay.
Apparently, she was a pain in the ass to work with. That's what Kevin Smith said. Because she was also in Dogma, and she was one of the most,
she was.
like,
I also
just
got
a really difficult actress. I don't know what Kevin Smith sometimes picks, like, between her and Shannon Doherty was difficult to work with. And then who was it that had a problem with Bruce Willis? Had a problem with Kevin Smith. Like, Kevin Smith talks about how Bruce Willis hated him when he
really.
directed. What was that movie with he directed with Tracy Morgan, with a cop movie? It
Cop
wasn't
movie?
written. Yeah, it wasn't written by him. He just directed it.
I
But
know what you're talking about. Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis were cops together, right?
mm-hmm. Ninja
I
Turtles
don't
3, What's More
remember.
to Love Than Time Traveling Ninjas. Cop Out. Thank you
Cop Out.
guys.
Thank
Cop Out.
you,
Thank you.
DJ
Thank you,
Slickrick
Justin. Yep, both of you.
and Justin. Yeah.
Yep. I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith too. Even even movies now.
Why I like that he's turned into kind of like a commentator. I appreciate that.
He always
I
has
think
been though.
I know, but more so, I think that's really been his prominent role. And maybe it's because he had a heart attack, right?
There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is that he's a talker. Like anytime you go to his Q&As, and
Oh yeah, he loves to talk, and he has.
I've had the pleasure to go to like 2 or 3. And you know how people line up to ask people questions up in the stage, right? They're like, "Hey, what kind of questions do you have?" He literally gets to like 2 or 3, and that's it, because one question can lead him to tell different stories.
Wait a minute.
And the other thing is,
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Stardust.
You keep going. Other thing,
Oh,
and
that's
I'll
right,
and I'll
yeah.
get to this. No, other thing, and then I'll get to this.
The other thing was that 10 years ago, he was mentioning about how he's just kind of lazy. He said it's so much easier to be entertained than be creative and make his own things again. And he really doesn't have anything, to say. Making Generation X movies was easier when he was living out of his parents' basement, writing scripts. Now he lives in Hollywood and lives in a mansion. He doesn't know anything. He's like, that's exactly what he said. He was like, I don't know anything about living,
Yeah,
the real
world. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think,
and then 100%, you're absolutely right. He had a heart attack, almost died, and that kind of changed perspective. So this is a lot easier than making movies, right? Being social commentary. Stardust.
Yes. So Ancient 1-0. I love this movie. Me and my cousin Tommy, Omar's brother, watched this but maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Not even 3 weeks ago.
It's a classic.
I love that movie, so I would review that bad boy in a heartbeat if we were doing because I read the novel first, which I love the novel.
I got it signed by Neil Gaiman. Had to wait hours to meet him.
I'm a little jealous about that.
Appreciate it.
I love it, but yeah, and then watching it again recently gave me a newfound respect for Charlie Cox, and I'm really enjoying the Daredevil.
Not Robert De Niro's character in that.
No, I love Robert De Niro's character.
Awesome in that movie.
Because poor Charlie Cox. I mean, with Daredevil and everything. But 6 months, guys. Netflix has the rights for 6 more months, and then Disney can take it from them and everything. So,
have you heard Smith's movie Red State was actually supposed to? Yep, I did. Mm-hmm. He said if he had a budget, he would have ended it, but the special effects would have cost too much. I love Red State. I'm not a fan of Tusk, and I'm not a fan of the Yoga Hosers, but Red State was awesome. And a little bit of a Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Was that what it was called? Kind of touched me right here in my old age. It was. I thought it was a little bittersweet. Dick Tracy, Charlie Cox. When will this?
I don't know, Michael.
Tommy Wiseau is a comic book character now.
Is he? Okay, but that doesn't mean. Are we gonna watch The Room or the
Room is
Franco movie?
It's crazy how that movie just has had his own
following.
Yeah. Um, I think Trolls 2 deserves that spot though, because I think Trolls 2 is such a better movie. Not Trolls 2 that you're thinking of that with your kids, but the 1980s Trolls 2 is a wonderful movie, especially after you watch Best Worst Movie, the documentary. If a man, hold up, I'm confused. If Amanda's cousin is Omar's brother, then it isn't Omar. I mean, hey, let's just leave you there, because that's
Yes, Omar's my cousin. Wait, what do you think, Dave, that we are?
NMC, you're tearing me apart.
Sorry. What?
Yes, that's the line from The Room.
Oh,
Are you guys keeping up with Stargirl? No, I've only seen one episode. I need to watch episode
me too.
2 and
It's been,
3 this week.
like I said, HBO Max came out, and it's not on HBO Max. So if anyone was wondering, it won't be out on HBO Max I think, for a while. So you can only watch on CW's app or CW Live or the DC Universe app, which I'm just waiting for all that to
Wait, the
become.
DC Universe apps now still has
It's,
Stargirl?
I believe,
Why
yeah,
hasn't
it's
that
still
just come over
existed,
to
not yet.
HBO
Because
Max?
remember, it still has all of the comics, so that's not going to be part of HBO Max. So I think they're in a period where they got to figure out what they're going to do, because not even all of the animated DC films and
Yeah, I
stuff
noticed
that are
that.
in DC Universe are on HBO Max. So
Hmm.
they're kind of making it like, well, if you want to see everything, you got to get DC Universe. But if you want to see some of it, you can get HBO Max. Or get both if you want to see, like, I forgot about what all Warner Brothers had back in, like, the 90s and early 2000s. I mean, the plethora of films. Now, granted, they have a lot of Fox films, Disney films, because it's still the streaming rights that HBO had.
Yeah, they still
And
have Aliens, and that's all
yeah,
HBO.
exactly. So they'll still have that stuff until the streaming rights go away. Then it'll get taken off and probably put on Hulu or whatever the case may be. But um,
Hey Omar, I was just on the Marvel Masterworks forum, and it seemed today there was a complete bashing of John Byrne. Did he say something today that people would be infuriated with? He says something every day, man. The guy has made a lot of enemies, despite of how people feel about him and what he thinks personally. I still think he is one of the best artists ever. Um, Blank Man, but with Damon Wayans, yeah, or Meteor Man. I like Meteor Man. Does HBO Max come with Spectrum because my service providers? Yeah, I think you get a discount,
do
maybe.
you? I have no idea. I just signed up. I got a discount
Dude, the
because
Kentucky family trees branch out and then they branch back in. It's kind of weird. And neither one of us are from Kentucky.
no, I'm not even. No, I'm like just by marriage, like related to all these people that we are talking about.
So
I'm
am
from
I.
Pennsylvania. No,
I'm from
whatever. You are the
Pennsylvania.
Valdivieso. You are the Valdivieso.
I am. I didn't start it. Are you
So
guys
to be
keeping up with
fair,
Oh,
what
wait,
I
I already
think
asked
what would
that.
be a really cool thing is if Omar and I kind of recap the last like what 3 episodes by now that have aired.
Yeah, if you guys want to see that, let us know.
My cat's
Because
trying to escape.
I really love. Is everyone related in Kentucky? It feels like it. Everybody knows each other in these
Oh my
small little
God, if you
towns.
were, yes. So to give you an example of how small Kentucky is, I left a job in Frankfurt, which is a city that,
Go ahead and tell me your social security number too.
anyways, and then I
You're
went to a
easier to
job
find.
in Lexington. So a new company, working there. And then about 2 weeks after, a woman comes into me and said, or comes to me at my new job and says, "Do you know so and so," which is my old boss from my old job? And I said, "Yeah." She's like, "I used to work with her at such and such a place, and you're that Amanda? She used to talk about you all the time when we would come to lunch." And I was like, "Well, I'm gone now and I'm here." So that is how small Kentucky is. If you guys were wondering.
Yeah, you have to branch out of these small little counties if you grew up here to go and date
Now,
people.
where I'm from originally, that would never happen in Pennsylvania. But here in Kentucky, I have found that happens more than not.
He bought all the DM variants since they were his original cover. He did not. No way.
Wait,
Okay,
and May.
so I went there to look up something about She-Hulk Omnibus, and everyone was just destroying him, saying nothing he did mattered. Wow.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
kind of.
he's got a strong voice, but I mean, he's a creator, right? Like, I don't I don't know. I'm under the mentality of like you got to separate the artist from the art. Like the whole thing with Ethan Van Sciver, still my favorite Green Lantern artist, despite of how different we are when it comes to life and issues.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean that but that's just me. It's not everybody. So, how do you feel about the news regarding Batwoman avoiding and them avoiding recasting Ruby Rose to invent a new lead. I
Yeah,
thought they had. I thought they had said that they were.
they're making a whole new character. So Kate Kane will.
What?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know about that?
Oh no! I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna just recast
No,
her.
and I'm not a fan of that.
Nope,
So
not liking that.
they're adding a whole new character, and oh God, I can't remember what they're. She kind of has like a history with like I don't know,
But
not drugs, but like kind of like she was kind of like a bad girl. Then she's gonna, I guess, find some retribution or whatever, and go good or whatever the case may be. So yes, it's a whole new character they're inventing to, I guess, take the mantle of Batwoman. Is
oh,
what I'm getting
that's
at.
not as
Yeah, I'm not
good
a fan of
though.
that either. I would have just rather they just recasted Kate Kane.
Everybody was fine with the new roadie.
Oh, it's true. I was totally
Just
okay with the new roadie. I was like,
uh,
Terrence Howard out. He is a complicated actor.
is
He
he
even
though?
caused drama on Empire too, and that was his show.
Dude, he's all about hustle and flow, man.
I know,
He was
but I mean,
awesome in
Empire
that
was a
movie.
great. I mean, there's a lot of other issues behind the scenes with the Empire actors, but that was one of them.
Okay. So here's a different stance on this subject. I don't know. I think the creators' behaviors matter to me. I want to support people who I feel are forces for good in the
I
world.
agree with you, Matthew, on that one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. Like, you know, not even just creators, like actors or anyone in general. Like, I love seeing actors I love when they are sticking up for stuff they believe in, and trying to do better in the world and not staying silent. I do appreciate that a lot.
I can't wait for the fall of what I like to call Tom Hanks, so people like Amanda and Maddie will freak out and start.
There's nothing wrong with Tom Hanks. I don't
Oh,
know when you're gonna get through.
everybody has a
Him and
breaking point,
Rita,
Amanda.
him and Rita Wilson are like, man, there are just
Yep.
my
Even though
cat.
comics use real life to influence their stories, how much should they use? I read for the escapism from all the crap in the world.
I
Yeah,
agree with
same
you on
reason
that.
I do. Same reason I watch movies. Same reason I miss going to movie theaters because I miss escaping the reality.
I think it's like how I feel like with YA novels. Like, so I'm really big into YA novels, which a lot of people probably are not big
A lot of
fans of.
people that don't know what they are
Young adult
young
novels,
adult novels.
but there's a way that comics and young, like, without bringing like actual real life stuff into it, taking themes and stuff from real life and putting them into a more fantastical universe, I'm okay with. I think it's weird when they start bringing like historical or real life elements into certain comics and things like that where I have issues. But you know, there's certain escapism, but I also want my stories to mean something and to say something. Does that make sense? And not just be true escapism. Because if that's the case, I'll just watch Wild Wild West or Catwoman.
Well, Wes, is my volume too low? Peter said it was too low. He said
Oh, I
never
don't
seen a
know. I'm
respective
just really
volume for.
loud.
That's true, but I think somebody was saying I was.
I could turn me down. Do I need to turn me down? How? Is that better?
No,
Am
no.
I lower?
Agreed. Very important to separate the artist and artist from me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to read Mark Waid. Mark Waid is another example of being strongly opinionated, but he's on the opposite side of where like Ethan Van Sciver is, and
I guess
yeah,
I don't know their stances, so I don't know the difference between Mark Waid and Ethan Skivers.
Bulletproof Monk. Amanda is loud. I am low.
Well, I'm a
Interesting.
loud person in general, Andrew, so that might be why. And I'm drunk. And my cat keeps getting my. Look at this cat. He keeps coming up to me. He wants something.
Interesting. Some people are saying it's fine, but I remember yesterday or I'm sorry, on Monday when we were doing Omnibus, somebody was saying I was low. So, um,
I did not ruin Hunger Games. It is an old book/movie, and
did you spoil that? You spoiled that for people. Oh, thank you, Peter. So that's better. Okay. I think she's just loud.
I am very loud.
Ooh, y'all should see her in person. Boy, when we get on heated debates.
Ooh, I have gotten into fights with people before.
Yeah, she has. It's been an interesting life getting to know her. But she's good people. She's good people. And a lot
He
prettier
wouldn't
than
ask
Alicia
me on the show
Silverstone.
if he didn't like me.
That's true. I can't, No, I've been having a hard time hearing Omar too.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up and you just talk.
No, 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 it's not. I really think it was my mic. But I hate putting it close to my face because then it starts like rubbing, and I don't want anybody to hear the rubbing.
Oh, wait, hold on. Great Gelu has good. Okay, I have watched Battle Royale
Yes.
and it makes Hunger Games look damn weak. Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
Battle Royale is freaking awesome. That's what we
To
should.
be honest, the Hunger Games, the first book was good. Second book was okay. Third book I checked out. Or not Stephanie Meyer. I can't even think of the woman who wrote Hunger Games to begin with. But
Oh, I don't even know why I'm trying.
you
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
You
Aaron
never even
Hunter. Omar's rubbing. I am not. Oh no, she froze on me. Now I'm the only one talking. Okay, so Peter, you're watching us through your 5.1. Yeah. So I hope this is a little bit better. I hope this is a little bit better. I have 4 different DVDs and Blu-rays of Battle Royale. Battle Royale 1 better than 2. Did you ever read Avengers Arena?
Are you not
They
gonna read?
literally talking to the great Garlu, like they literally just rip off that. Suzanne Collins?
Suzanne Collins, yes, thank you.
I
That's
was
the
gonna say Harper Lee,
no, it's Suzanne Collins, yeah.
the lady that wrote To Kill a Mockingbird.
No, she wrote some great American literature. I don't know if I would call Hunger Games great American literature.
It's YA, right? So a lot of kids have read it. I bet a lot
No,
more kids have
I know,
read
I know.
Hunger Games than they have To Kill a Mockingbird. Sadly, because To Kill a Mockingbird is a masterpiece.
Well, unless it was required by the school to read it.
I don't think it is anymore.
It
Or
should be, because we had to read it when I was in school.
well, a lot of things have changed, right? That's what happens. A lot of the books, like I think when I was in school, they were trying to pull out Huck Finn,
Oh,
right?
oh my God. So when I tried to teach high school, someone just let off fireworks in my neighborhood. What the hell?
She lives in the rough part of town. She lives in the. She lives like those are not fireworks.
No, they're going off incessantly.
Yeah, not fireworks. She just lives in a bad part of town. I
No,
didn't call her
I
out. That's why her. That's why her internet is shitty. Go ahead, Amanda. What were you gonna say? You did what?
no, so when I thought I
They
was
invented the wheel when I was in high school. No way, man. Did they have books when Old Man Omar was in school?
I don't think
Yes.
so. I think
Yeah,
they said
bullshit. They did.
tablets. They
What,
had
what
to
what were they what were they doing when you were in school?
No, so when I wanted to be a teacher at some point for high school, and when I actually had a job to be a high school teacher, the first thing I had to do, their summer reading was Huck Finn.
Oh,
And boy, that was
and
rough. I'd
you
never
were in
read
inner
it.
city school, right?
No. Well, so I was in Arkansas at the time, and in Arkansas they still did busing. So they could bus inner city kids to suburban schools. And I was in a suburban school, but it was a very diverse classrooms that I had. And it was 11th grade, so juniors. And Huck Finn was just, I never read it in my high school. It was, oh my gosh, where are you?
Are you really having an earthquake, man? I'm pushing 63. I read Tom Sawyer in high school here in Australia. Awesome. Peter's a great guy. He's a good dude.
But yeah, but there's a,
What? Suzanne Collins also worked on several Nickelodeon shows like Clarissa Explains It All. I had a crush on Clarissa. She was so cute. Oh, man. He's in Cali, and he said it was just a little one. We used to have a lot of those in Peru. A lot of earthquakes and tremors. We have one here in Kentucky, like every once in a while. We live on a fault, or we have a fault here in Kentucky. You kind of feel it a little bit.
The one time, well, we had a sinkhole, but
oh, this is a good question. Then we can start wrapping up. But what was your favorite book that you were made to read? Mine was A Confederacy of Dunces, which I know my wife hates, but I love it. What was your book that you were made to read in school that you liked?
The Great Gatsby.
Really? Oh, I did not like that book.
The Great Gatsby, I love. And I really love the Baz Luhrmann one movie that came out.
The movie, okay.
Decades later. Because technically a decade at least before it came out, after I read it in high school.
1984 was awesome. Brave New World was awesome. Yeah. I'd love to know what everybody else is.
I liked Beloved by Toni Morrison too, but I was
You had to read that, man? Like Water for Chocolate? That's a good one. I had to read like Great Expectations. I read a lot of Hemingway when I was in middle school and like first year high school, freshman, I guess.
I was an
That was
English
that's
major.
probably my second favorite was of Mice and Men. That was Steinbeck, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of Mice and Men. Yeah,
So I
that's
was
my
an English
favorite.
major in college, and actually one of the classes I read, which was modern American literature, in one of them I had to do Alison Bechdel's Fun Home, which is a graphic novel memoir. I don't know if anyone knows who Alison Bechdel is, but she is a comic artist slash writer. And that was the first time I ever read a graphic novel for like a course. It was a
Mhm.
summer course I took for my in my junior year of college, and it was modern American literature, and it was her memoir about her. She grew up living in a funeral home, and she becomes she is a lesbian, and she finally comes to grips with that in her memoir. But right as she does, her father passes away, and she learns these secrets about her father's other life, which was him being homosexual, and it's her coming to grips with this secret in this
What was the
past.
book called?
It's called Fun Home by Alison Bechtel.
I'll be
Alison
honest, I
Bechtel.
have never read that book.
Oh, it is fantastic. But she is a comic artist.
It's a comic book, right? A graphic novel.
Graphic novel, yeah. And I know I wasn't on the spinning because I couldn't be on the spinning episode, but it reminded me a lot of that. Her spinning reminded me a lot of Fun Home, which Fun Home came out before spinning because Alison Bechdel is much older than the girl who wrote spinning, Tilly Walden.
Tilly Walden's only like 24,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And Alison Bechdel is like probably in her like 40s, but uh,
Ray, that ending of Confederacy of Dunces is freaking top notch. I love that book. I wish they had been able to do a proper movie. And what's sad about books like that is that the guy died before he knew how popular his book was. Like,
a lot of people back.
I think
A
he
lot.
committed suicide, maybe. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No, no, you're
interrupt.
fine. But what's interesting about Alison Bechdel, if you never read the graphic novel, you should. Fun Home is what it's called by Alison Bechdel. But she also is the person who's named behind the Bechdel test, which is the how many times a female characters in films have interactions that don't deal where they're talking about a man or a relationship. And she's the one who kind of they call it the Bechdel test, but that's where they coined it from is her. So
Oh. Uh, Awesome Gamer just joined. Did you guys enjoy the movie? Just joined. Really quick, the Amazing Amanda gave it a 2 out of 10. I gave it a 2.5 out of 10.
sorry.
So it was okay. There was another question here, or were we talking about books? Books? I can't remember. Um, hold on.
Um,
Speaking of books you read in school, how'd you like the movie version of Ender's Game?
Ooh,
No,
with Harrison Ford and the
you
kid who almost was Spider-Man. If Tom
you
Holland was Spider-Man,
you can't do that movie. Like
that's really hard.
it's not gonna be a. I mean, you can't make things like that into a movie. It's
Yeah.
impossible because it's just too much pop culture. Everybody owns the rights to different things, right? So you can't throw all the little Easter eggs in there. And it's more like an experience when you read things like that.
Well, how much does Disney own? Because they might be able to.
You don't know no damn HBO Max stuff like WB stuff.
No, you're right.
Um, and then he asked something. Omar, did you upload yesterday? Nope. We did not upload anything yesterday. I uploaded a video this morning, and then tomorrow I'll be doing a live video at 11 o'clock, looking at the
Yes.
Marvel solicitations for September or October. Um, his mother found the manuscript. Yeah, his mother found the manuscript in his room after he killed himself and sent it to publishers. That's so sad. There's this wonderful documentary I saw. Since this is more of a movie thing. Oh my God, what? My wife bought it for me because I had been wanting to watch it for years. Came out about 10, 12 years ago. Oh, in the something of madness. It's about a guy that literally was an introvert. Nobody knew him in his apartment. There's only like one or two pictures of him, but he literally wrote like this huge book with pictures that he drew. Like he was working on this book novel for like the last 30 years, and somebody found it after he died. And um, damn it, I wish I could remember. But anyway, that's what it kind of reminds me of. It hasn't been published or anything because it's some of it is a lot of gibberish, but it's kind of sad when things like that happen. Uh, like Van Gogh, right?
Hmm.
It's bad. Passed away before he knew how much his art inspired the world. So,
I saw that Doctor Who episode.
oh, that's what I'm talking about. Van Gogh. He's a fictional character in the Doctor Who universe, Amanda.
Um, Andrew said he was surprised Ready Player One was made, and I was a little bit too.
Yeah, I think most of us though.
As Andrew Ware, right, was the author, and he did The Martian. I'm sorry, it's different author. But reread the audiobook or listened to the audiobook, and yeah, the audiobook still to me was
No, no, it's not. It's not gonna happen to you, man. Because now we have like social media. You have Google Drive. You can upload your stuff on there, man. And what I'm trying to say is get your shit made. Get it made, whatever it is.
yeah.
Do you think
Ooh,
we'll ever see a good H.P. Lovecraft movie? Like, oh, dude,
space.
I want. That's the movie that we
We
were supposed to
talked
go
about that
see.
movie, seeing it
Yeah,
together.
I went to go see stupid. What's it called with you? So you go see this with me. And then the outbreak happened.
And the outbreak happened, and yeah.
How does Amanda feel about Hunger Games prequel, this Battle of Songbirds and Snakes? I didn't even know that was a thing, which recently
It
got
is.
released.
It's taken from President Snow's point of view. I have not read it. Yeah, Suzanne Collins and Stephanie Meyer are two young adult authors where I just feel like instead of creating, like, I mean, obviously, and J.K. Rowling could be said to be in the same, but instead of creating new things, they're just going back and, like, in a sense, rewriting from a different point of view. Because I know, like, Stephanie Meyer did, like, stuff from Edward's point of view, right, for the Twilight books. I don't think that's necessarily original. I like when authors take a world and expand it. Cassandra Clare, young adult author, is a great example where she takes her whole Shadowhunter world and she has made series upon series about it, and has created this whole universe of these Shadowhunters that fight demons with these lineages that are far better than anything George Lucas has ever created with Star Wars and his Skywalker legacies and things like that. Or even J.K. Rowling and her Harry Potter, like she has gone crazy. So yeah, those don't interest me. Like that's why I've never read any of the Twilight stuff with Stephanie Meyer, any of her stuff she redid with Edward. That stuff doesn't interest me that much. That's what I have to say about it. Ernest
There,
Cline. Thank you. That's who he is.
oh, there you have it.
Yes.
Omar, oh my God, this is. I said we're gonna start wrapping up, and this is a question that's kind of like it's a long answer. How do I feel about the Disney era of Star Wars? Not as bad as others people. Other people
I like
seem to think it is.
Mandalorian.
Um, somebody asked me if I like the prequel trilogy more than I like the sequel trilogy. And I love that the question was asked like that instead of like, what's your favorite trilogy? Because they assume that the original trilogy is the answer. But which is better? And I don't know. I think I have to rewatch all the movies again in order to answer that.
See,
It's tough, like because the unfortunate part of the sequel trilogy is that they have this hamburger style of filming where you had a guy that started it off that had an idea, should have finished it, but instead I don't know whose call it was to put somebody else's meat in there. Well, that was, don't take that out of connotation. And then finish it off with the bun that was J.J. Abrams. I that's not how movies are made. That's not how ideas, like I don't get it.
I don't think it was intended to. I don't think that necessarily J.J. Abrams would have went and finished the Star Wars franchise. It's just that because of the reviews of Last Jedi, which I didn't mind Last Jedi, I thought was fine. I did not like Rise of Skywalker, except for what I got, which is what I wanted, was the kiss between Rey.
I had a lot of
That's all I
issues.
wanted. So
I had
I
a
like
lot of
Jedi.
I had a lot of issues with Last Jedi. I
except for
thought
the weird force thing with Leia, but other than that, I didn't mind it.
I thought the casino scene was horribly done. It was a weird movie. It was not, but both of those are
But it
really
made
weird.
sense.
Episodes 8 and 9 are really weird in their own way. Episode 8 tried to do things, and I think it tried to do too much. I
Well,
don't,
they're
like,
just trying to change the story. Like, if the whole idea was this, we were talking about the Skywalker saga, then
mhm.
there should have been better. Then they should have had one filmmaker to guide the film. But what was it, Colin Trevorrow, right? What he was right. That's who did. No, Ryan Johnson.
Ryan
What he was
Johnson
trying to
got
say is
Knives
that
Out. Yeah.
anyone could be a Jedi, not just the Skywalkers. I kind of like the idea of that. Why did Rey have to be a Skywalker or a
No, that
Palpatine?
was no problem at all. I like that. I like the
Totally
idea of
forgive him for Last Jedi.
anybody could be this. But that was one of the few messages that was, I don't know, and that's a whole nother episode. I did a review on it about 2.5 years ago with the Omni Bros, and I was conflicted because I had only watched it once, and I was like, The Last Jedi was one of the worst and best Star Wars movies because of that middle fight scene. Still the best fights I've ever seen in Star
Oh
Wars.
yeah, I
Maybe
get that.
maybe the Mandalorian might be a little different now, but I don't know. That's a good question. Damn it, sorry. We'll come back to that another day because that's interesting.
Well,
Maybe we should watch them.
Justin makes a good point. The prequels, for anyone's like, yes, at least their story was consistent and
Yes,
George
that's
stuck with
absolutely.
the theme. We know where we were going. Ow, God, cat.
Where
Oh,
you scratch you? Your
he
legs?
jumped on me and his little claws are out. Ugh.
Or can we get a show where you, Amanda, and Maddie rank from best to worst Dark Phoenix Saga by Claremont X3? Oh, you guys. Yeah, we can do
To be
that.
fair, we've already rated each one of those separately. I think we could just bring them together.
Mm,
We did. We rated Dark Phoenix. We saw X3.
make
Yes,
sure you hit that like button. Thank you
it's
so
been a
much,
minute.
man, for reminding us, for reminding people. Episode 8 got a bit bogged down and seemed very slow. I agree. I agree. I think the pacing was off. Oh man, I don't want to do a movie review of this because this really can open up a rabbit hole that Amanda and I can go into.
Last Jedi, right?
No, episode 9 is Last Jedi. He's talking about episode 8.
Force Awakens?
No, The Force Awakens is 7. 8 is Last Jedi. Oops, Last Jedi. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry. Rise of the Skywalker is 9. Ah. Let's see. Last Jedi tried to retcon Force Awakens. Rise of Skywalker tried to retcon Last. Yes, it feels like.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
Oh, yeah, but can next week be Iron Man 3? You know what? I'll I'll make a poll for the
We should do
lowest
another
rated
Marvel.
MCU movies. Last time some people got offended that Ant-Man and Wasp was on there, and I was like, that's not my fault.
I need to. You know what, guys? To be fair, I'm gonna recheck to make sure Omar's putting the actually lowest
I'm
rated
a,
movies on there.
I can't believe this woman is going behind my back to check me.
Can't do
Come on
Twitter
now.
polls. We already did that. But to be fair, we haven't done a ton of Marvel movies yet. Daredevil and
Because a lot of people think the MCU is untouchable. Like people get offended if like
did.
I remember when we put the poll up of the MCU, people got offended that some of those movies were on there, and I'm like, I didn't write this. Like literally, we took the
We just
average.
did the lowest rated like MCU, not like they're the lowest rated of the entire all superhero movies. They're
Right, lowest rated out of the MCU.
They're the lowest rated. We had Spider-Man, Daredevil.
Yes, Mushroom Classic. That's a good movie to review. But as far as MCU, we've only had one movie, and that was the Incredible Hulk that we've done. We could do Thor.
No, we had Daredevil. Well, okay, not with
That's not MCU though, right?
but I mean Marvel versus DC. We've had.
Damn it.
Thank God, Matthew. You're so right. Paul Rudd is a national treasure.
I can't wait till that guy and Tom Hanks slip up.
Honestly, don't think Paul Rudd will ever up too.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Do Ragnarok. That movie is garbage. I love it. I love. Thank you, Justin, because that proves my point. Of some people hate Ragnarok, some people love Thor, too, but it's not. It's not our personal choices. Sometimes movies that are on this list are movies I actually like. What did I compare Thor Ragnarok to? Oh, Spider-Man 3. I said I completely understand the people that hate Thor Ragnarok because Spider-Man 3 was kind of like Thor Ragnarok. They went in that funny way.
Kenobi, when'd you come here?
Howard the Duck. It's a good one.
Yeah, there's a couple of
Gotta get going. Thanks for the live stream. And
Yeah,
yes,
it is
enjoy
like
Jonah Hex.
2 hours.
8.1 out of 10. I love how precise you are, brother.
I know. Thank you.
Paul Rudd and I are childhood
They
friends.
are.
I met him with Amanda,
It was fantastic. I told him good luck at Endgame.
which he was like, I don't know what the hell that lady say. Mr.
Whatever.
Vick did not like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah, that's another one that's a lot of people like and a lot of people don't like. It's funny like how this
Whew. We should
It's-
do Ragnarok just we see Justin and Matthew fight together. That would be
But
hilarious.
I like Ragnarok. I can't
I know,
like-
but you have Matthew thinks it's the best movie, and Justin hates doesn't like it at all. So I like to see the two of them go at it.
which just goes to show that you can have a difference of opinion and still get along, and that is the beauty of this world.
Yes.
Speaking
Matt,
of Ragnarok,
sorry.
no, it's okay.
Put it back, you put it back.
It's your baby.
No, you do it.
No, it's, I got my
Okay.
arms crossed. Go ahead.
So Matt Simpson said, speaking of Ragnarok, how do you feel about Taika Waititi being given the opportunity to direct a Star Wars film? He already directed an episode of Mandalorian.
And he is in the Mandalorian too. You know what?
Yeah.
What I found interesting about the Mandalorian, is that a lot of women directed those. Like even what's her name? The super hot
Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yes, she directed. I think.
Yeah,
2
she did.
episodes.
Yeah, she did. That's nothing to do with her father being Ron Howard, but it has everything to do with her being talented.
Sure.
Okay, wait. I do not hate every MCU movie that's featured Tom Holland. My top 5 MCU movies, I think only 2 of them have Tom Holland in it, and only Civil War because Civil War had to introduce him. But
We're still here, man.
yeah,
Amanda's going on taking up for Tom Holland for some reason.
well, because it wouldn't be an episode live if I didn't take over Tom Holland these ones with my
Did we-
brother's
did we-
dress shirt. See, he's right there. Wait, where is he? That he's
What are you showing?
That's the brothers. Oh, you can't see it. It's Tom Holland's brothers, him and his brothers, and their would be a movie. Wouldn't be an episode if I didn't mention that, guys.
What movement are you supporting with that shirt? What are they fighting?
I think
Never mind. I hate Natalie Portman's eyebrows.
I want to watch Dark World so I can watch her eyebrows. I didn't really.
I just learned that Taika wrote
I
the
didn't
initial
know that.
screenplay of Moana.
Because all that ever gets is Lin-Manuel
What?
Miranda's music, which is fantastic. So
Omar, you gave me a reason to wake up early tomorrow. Thanks, man. It's what I do. All I heard was Amanda's top 5 movies: Civil War, Infinity War. Don't lie. I think they are. We did our top 5, didn't we? Omar, what was the best Batman movie? It's close between Batman '89 and Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. I love The Dark Knight. It was excellent. Amanda, you're supposed to pull your T-shirt up before you do that. So we can screen cap that.
yeah,
Patreon. Unlock that Patreon level.
Nipplegate. Yeah, that's what that is.
And on that note, everybody, thank you so much for watching.
2 hours. Time for us to go to bed.
Amanda's sobering up, and that's just no fun. Nobody wants.
Yeah,
to
I
do
mean, I
that.
only got a little bit of. I drank this whole bottle, guys.
Oh, don't be a wuss. Drink the rest of that. So thank you all for joining us. We've enjoyed this a lot, and we're going to continue this segment next week. We do need to talk about old reader, new reader. See if we can
Yes, we have to
shuffle
make
that
up
into.
for last night's episode since we
Maybe
chose
I'll send a message to Maddie and Amanda and see when we can do it, and we'll keep
you
you
guys
posted.
posted.
Maybe we'll do it this week because I'm already up to next week's read. So, yeah, if you haven't
I'm
hit
2
like,
weeks up yet. I mean, I'm already on Silver Surfer, guys. So
she's already on Silver Surfer. She's on Silver Surfer.
I
Oh,
read
what's up,
Black
Philip?
Widow.
I didn't know you were
Already read
here.
Red Sun. Hey, Philip.
The stream tomorrow is at 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Wardrobe malfunction for Amanda. Oh, she's got to be really drunk. She gets to a point where she doesn't fucking care. And I have to remind her, I'm like, you can't, you're wearing a dress. What are you doing? But everybody, seriously, thank you so much for watching. Hit like. You want to do your thing? You do your
Yes.
thing. Do your thing.
Okay. So to wrap this up, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at @NearMintCon. Remember to check us out on Patreon if you want to support us, Redbubble if you want some awesome near mint condition gear. And remember, guys, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint. Have a good evening. We will talk to you all on the flip side. Have a good night. Stay safe. Be careful out there, guys, and we love you all.
I love your Lord of the Rings endings. You're just like one thing after another. Everybody stay healthy and safe. Much love to you all.
Bye, guys.